Oh my goodness, it's Dirty Thursday on GFBS. And I tell you what, we have got a studio full today. Your new NOSA champion, Brenden Mullen, is in the studio. Along with Bob Mullen. And our guest host today, Amanda Jo Enright, is back. Yeah, Chad's gone having another procedure or something.
All right, I think we're back. In case they didn't catch that, should we do it all over? Dirty Thursday. NOSA champ Brenden Mullen. Grandpa Bob Mullen is in the studio. And our guest host, Amanda Jo Enright, is back. They're running out of applause. Chad's having another procedure or something done today. You know, you think he'd be running out of procedures. But anyway, our show today, by the way, brought to you by Northwest Tire, speaking of Chad. In fact, Northwest Tire in Grand Forks are looking to hire a tire technician. If you're not afraid to show up for work on time and, you know what, work while you're there, well, this job might be for you. No prior work experience is necessary. Northwest Tire, they'll train the right people. A lot of great benefits, too. PTO, health insurance, 401k, and more. Pay will depend on experience, but they will train the right people, remember? Stop into Northwest Tire on Gateway Drive to find out more, or you can call Chad at 701-780-8473 or apply online at nwtire.com. If you want to call or text, feel free to ask any question. Our number is 701-213-0863, 701-213-0863. Time for our daily segment now called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. We'll see what kind of what we get out of Paul here today. So anyway, guy walks into an auto parts store and he says, "I'd like a new air freshener for my Yugo." Well, the guy behind the counter shakes his hand and says, "All right, sounds like a pretty decent trade to me." He just shakes his head. I'm gonna have to work on the neighbor a little bit there. We're gonna start on the left first. Bob Mullen. Bob, how are you? Great to have you in the studio.
Great, thanks for the invitation.
How's your winter going?
Good.
Have you been going to warmer climates, doing anything fun?
We did sneak off for a couple weeks down to Florida. Enjoyed the weather and enjoyed the racing.
Good. And we're going to get back to that, too. Brenden, how are you doing, man?
Absolutely fantastic.
NOSA champ.
Yes.
How's it feel?
Really good.
Yeah? Well,
Yeah.
I got a billion questions for you, too. And also, Instagram was already lighting up last night. We're going to be answering some of those questions. And Amanda Jo, always, I call you on short notice, hoping, praying, crossing my fingers that you can come in, and it just so happened to work out again today. How are you?
Good. I was off today.
Yeah, you look a little different.
I lost my glasses this morning.
You lost your glasses this morning.
I took a shower and lost them.
Oh, they didn't go down the drain.
No, they were on before the shower and then after the shower. I have no idea where they went.
Oh, okay.
I texted Sean asking him if he knew where they were, and he's like, no.
No, I usually take my glasses off before I shower.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where I put them.
Can you drive without your glasses?
I'm not supposed to, but I do.
Okay, we won't tell anybody.
No, my license says I'm supposed to, but.
Yeah, mine does too. And the thing is, I really do need mine. Okay, first off, since we got Amanda Jo on here, man, I tell you what, you're busy. Mm-hmm. I thought you were busy last year. Now this year, you are good. You got like 70 some races you're going to be at this year.
Yep, I looked at my schedules, parole there. I have 3 different schedules I work off of. That's Buffalo River, Minn Kota, and NOSA. Mm-hmm. And I have about 70. And that's not including a couple we're still working on.
Wow. And also involving the lightning sprints. Big news there.
Yep. It was a conversation months ago, but it actually came to fruition here a few weeks ago. Jason and I had a conversation about me taking on minority role of ownership of Minn Kota lightning sprints.
That's worth applause.
Yeah, and I accept
or
it.
not.
I think right now it's applause. We'll talk to me in 70 races. We'll see.
Right. Now, does your husband ever think, come on, man?
No, he actually has big news too this year. He actually joined the NOSA board.
Yeah,
so
that was cool.
You know, works on a car, runs around with me, and now he's got that NOSA competition stuff going on. So
You know, I'm going to tell you right now, because me growing up, my parents were not into racing at all. It was not a family thing for me, but obviously it is for the Enrights. I mean,
Yep.
you guys, you travel as a family. I know sometimes you have to split up when you've got shows in different
Yes.
spots, but and the thing is, when I look at your social media posts, your kids absolutely love racing too.
they do. I mean, Hudson just put what his 2022 was going to look like at school. I saw it at conferences, and I looked up, and it says racing. Yeah. And he's got these 3 goals underneath it, and I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, okay, well, are the kids going to grow up to be race car drivers, you think?
Hallie wants to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I support that. I don't want Hudson to. I mean, he's a maniac. So.
Yeah.
He has no interest right now, but Hallie really does. And we'll probably try the go-karts, but I think she really wants a lightning sprint.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So then if you get into the go-karts, you can throw Wednesdays in on the mix too.
Yeah, might as well.
Oh, you got time, right?
Yeah, I do.
Plenty of time. Getting you back to Brenden now, NOSA champ. Pretty crazy. Did you think... I mean, you know, when people get into racing, right away they think, well, I know it might take a little bit of time, but then I'm going to kick everybody's ass all day long, all night long, every week. Did you think this would come this fast? Because it did come fairly quick for you.
I mean, I guess I was hoping so, but it's kind of unreal to be in the position to be the NOSA champ at 18. This summer was kind of a deal where I previously hadn't really paid attention to points much because we were 7th.
Still learning,
you know. Just getting laps and trying to get race wins. But this summer it was kind of fun to actually, we kind of had a slow start and built our way back up, and it was fun to kind of knock down a bunch of consecutive good nights and chase the points lead down and then pass for the lead and protect it. Was pretty cool.
Does your mindset change? Because you just said when you got the lead and then protect it. Does the way you race change? Does your strategies change? Or it's just still, this is what we got to do tonight?
I mean, every night you're at the track, you want to win. Mm-hmm. So I guess the mindset pretty much is it's if you're not standing on that podium, it's you didn't do good enough at that point. But you always want to go out and be the winner, whether you're in second or third. For me, I'm not entirely happy, but no, I don't think my mindset really changes.
You know, I do want to throw in some more applause here for just a second because how about your old alma mater, Red River, winning state high school hockey tournament.
Yes.
Now, I know a couple of different hockey teams around here were looking for guys, and I know I was throwing your name out there at the beginning of the year because you weren't really quite sure what this winter was going to bring to you, but you miss lacing up the skates at all?
I do, big time, but I think for me it was a deal where to play hockey after high school, you really have to make it your life.
Yeah, that's true.
I was pretty good, but not getting a lot of looks from everywhere. So I would have had to go in and really, really grind to make it happen for me over the next 3-4 years. And I was just kind of like,
you know, and I know a lot of people that have gone through the same scenario. You could go on, but pretty soon, if you do make it to where you could go to college and maybe play some D1, pretty soon you're looking at being a 21-year-old freshman. You know, and okay, if you're a 21-year-old freshman playing D1 college hockey, you probably aren't going to go too much further. So sprint car racing or hockey, to me, that would be tough. I mean, because I absolutely love them both, but I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, all those years that I was playing hockey, it was kind of a deal where it was, I'm only going to be playing hockey for so long, so do that for now, and then when the time comes, you can get in the race car and follow that fully. And I think another deal is a lot of kids, once they're done with high school, they don't really have anything left to compete for, you know? Hockey players, so they'll go try, even though they know they might not want to or they have other aspirations for college. But with me, I still was lucky enough to have a full 410 sprint car team sitting in the garage over there, so that was something I could just kind of step right into. You
know, we go to Grandpa Bob. Of course, I've been around racing for a long time, but never really got to know you that good, except at the hockey arenas is where we probably got to really be friends. Because your grandsons were playing hockey for Red River, and we talked a lot at hockey rinks. But I'm really glad that this is your grandkid because that just made you and I friends, I think. Do you miss the hockey?
You know, Joan and I aren't done with hockey yet. We have one more grandson that plays.
Okay.
He's on the JV team at Red River. So.
Oh, is he goalie too, isn't he?
He's a goalie.
Oh boy, is he different than the other grandkids? Because
they're
most
all-
goalies are a little different, you know.
They're all different. Yeah. Thank goodness, yeah, that they are different. But his name is Jonas, and he attempted to have a career at racing himself, but he raced go-karts at one time, and he was pretty good at it.
Okay. Now, I know your brother, too, ran a little bit. Is he out of the racing world right now or not?
It scares the hell out of him.
That does, huh? Well, it does a lot of people. I mean, it's funny. I was talking with Nick Umdahl not that long ago because one year he tried racing, I believe it was the oval vintage snowmobiles. Oh. And I grew up ice racing, snowmobiles. And I said, well, what'd you think of that? And that's what he said. He said, it scares the hell out of me. And this is coming from a sprint car driver. And it's like, but it is a little bit different. You do have to have a pair.
And openness, I'm sure, is.
Yeah. But that's good. I mean, at least the one is still going. Now, you were in Florida recently. Tell us about that trip.
We drove down to a track called Needmore, Georgia, and ran 2 shows, and it went pretty good. The first night, we kind of is your typical first night, just kind of getting your feet wet a little bit, and we went forward in the A-main, started like 16th and got to 10th, and I kind of caused a wreck a little bit. I made a mistake, so it was kind of a tough first night, tore up somebody else's stuff, but we came back the second night and won the dash, started first in the feature and ended up 4th, and Terry McCarl won that one, so we were in pretty good company up front there, but it was a fun track, and it was really, really nice people down there. And then we traveled down to East Bay and raced 2 nights with the All-Stars, which both went pretty horribly. I was not very good, honestly, but after that, it was the East Bay 360 sprints, they called them. It was a practice night and 3 nights of racing, and East Bay was a tricky place because we had to figure out what the tides were at, because at certain points the elevation was so low the water would actually come up through the track, and there was just all sorts of nicks and knacks and little things to figure out that it was. I didn't make either the first two A mains with that 360 show, but made it the final night and had a good run, and it was good to end on a good note.
I did drive around a few racetracks because we went all over on my trip here a couple of weeks ago. But was it like red clay, or what was the dirt like there?
In Georgia, it was red, like really, really red, and I kind of expected it to be real sticky clay, but it was almost like sand.
Yeah, it's kind of gritty, isn't it?
Yeah, it got on everything. But the dirt in East Bay itself really wasn't that different from what we have up here. It was just I guess it wore away a little differently, and the fact that it can completely change on you at any time due to the moon.
Sure. And NOSA is, anybody that knows anything about sprint car racing, they know who NOSA is. They know the River City Speedway and all that stuff. But when you go down south and people find out we got this kid from North Dakota, where the hell's North Dakota? I'm sure a lot of people did know who you were, but how did they react to this Nodak kid coming down there?
Everybody was honestly super nice. They all had questions, and they were when I told them that you guys were getting negative 40 degrees and blizzard up here, they were.
Oh, I lived on that when I was down there.
That was pretty awesome. But they were all super nice, and everybody, of course, really, really liked the cannabis sponsor deal. So
well, of course.
We sold some T-shirts and took some pictures, and we met a bunch of fans, I think, that'll continue to be our fans, so it was really good.
You were also at the Daytona 500. I was there, too. I wish I would have seen you, but one comment I wanted to make about Daytona, it was fun. Daytona Speedway is incredible. Yeah. I don't know if you saw my social media post. I think I did pee myself a little bit when I first got to the infield and took a look around, but one thing I wanted to say is because, we've all got our favorite drivers. I'm not a big Kyle Busch fan. But I didn't have to worry about it because of all the shirts I saw. I mean, they wear shirts that just say Kyle Busch sucks, And then driver introduction, when they come around in the back of the pickup and they do their lap and the fans wave and salute. They don't do that for Kyle. They all stood up and gave him the one finger salute. But what'd you think of the race?
I have been watching the Daytona 500 ever since I was a little kid, and it was really cool to see how the new cars kind of played out. I mean, you didn't really see as much 3 wide and stuff like that as usual, but it was the lanes. It was always changing top or bottom, which was fast, and it was just really cool to be there and see the actual amount of people and see the grandstands and just be a part of it was pretty fantastic.
Now, you talk about, and I'll probably ask Bob this question, the sponsorship with the cannabis. How did that all come about?
We were looking for a sponsor, and we were dealing with a water rebottling company in Sioux Falls. And that deal fell through. And a good friend of ours who's in the advertising business in Sioux Falls and has done stuff for us for 20-some years said, you know, I'm working on a deal with the Sante Sioux people, and they're looking at buying a building, and they're getting big into CBD stuff and cannabis. And he said, you guys should come meet them. They might be a potential sponsor. So strange thing happened. We met him. We had dinner. We visited. We showed him some of the stuff that we're all about. And the next day, the deal was done, and off we went. So it was timing's everything in life.
Sure, yeah.
And we were there at the right time, and we were looking for another sponsor. So that came together real quick for us. We were real fortunate to get that.
You know, you could mix that with like try to get Doritos or something, and that way on the race trailer you could autograph little bags of Doritos. It'd be perfect. Yeah. But how important is it? And again, I'll ask you this because I know you're kind of the brains in the pocket behind all this stuff. But man, when you run a schedule and you're running a 410 sprint car, a team and the car or cars, it's not cheap. And how important is that sponsorship to you guys?
Well, we couldn't race without sponsors. We've been very, very fortunate to go out and get great sponsors that have allowed us to travel and race the way we do. You know, without that, we just couldn't race. Racing's become a very, very expensive sport. And unless you're a multi-millionaire or you've won the lottery or something, racing's pretty much over with if you don't get sponsors. And, you know, we spend months and months and months stopping and talking to different people about sponsorships, and we're continuing to do that today. We're still looking for Brendan's deal is pretty well come together, but we're still looking real hard right now to firm up the 9N car. And so if anybody out there is looking to sponsor a 10-time champ, we do have room for some sponsorship opportunities on that car. But we're working real hard right now on firming up a couple decent sponsors there.
Good.
So we hope to have both cars back out and traveling again.
You know, and a lot of people might not know this, but the 9N car and, of course, your car are both out of your racing stable. Of course, you talk about Wade Nygaard. Man, the guy has won so many races. And when you talk about money, you'll see sprint car races on TV. You might win a couple of races, but that's not going to make you rich.
No, you couldn't win enough races to be rich. I mean, you even look at the World of Outlaws, and I would guess their sponsorship commitments are, I know they're over $1 million plus. And I was involved in that a number of years ago when Tony Stewart first started his sprint car team with Danny Lasowski. I was involved in that. And it's just incredible. But, you know, they have a lot of different funding. It's a whole different deal for them. They're at a level where when they're all said and done, the top 10 guys in that end up having some money left over at the end of the year. But the rest of us, it's just a sport, and, you know, we love it. And no different than having the Amandas of the world that help support it through NOSA. And we're lucky enough to have all these guys that are willing to commit their not only weekends, but weeknights and whatever it takes to keep these race cars on the track. And they all work for free.
Sure.
And then, like in our world, we always tease everybody and say, you know, it's not Brenden, it's not Brendan's dad, it's not me, it's Grandma that has the checkbook. So.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's Grandma.
Thank
You know, we
goodness
gotta
for
make-
Grandma.
She's who I hand the checks to.
Yeah, we got to make sure. Grandma has two important roles in our race team. One is she has to make sure that she agrees that we're funded. And secondly, she makes the ham sandwiches for all of our out-of-town trips.
Oh, which are
So she is-
amazing, by the way.
She's the boss / cook.
Yeah, Joan takes pretty good care of us.
She makes some good bars too.
Yeah? Awesome.
I just wanted to mention, you know, if you're looking for sponsors, we have one that helps us with our show. It's Alternative Health. It might be, I don't know if you've heard of them or if you've talked to them, but it's Dr. Charlotte Ewalls. And what they do is they prescribe medicinal cards for North Dakota and Minnesota. So I got her card here for you.
Perfect,
So that'd
thank
be
you.
somebody you could reach out to.
Good to know.
All right. You got anything? Oh.
Off.
There we go.
You shut me off. I was gonna just mention I know the season looked tough for like Brenden, but I want to bring up how Bob, like, he was in a sling at some point.
Yeah.
He was in the hospital. He was
It's either bad leg, bad shoulder, bad something.
He didn't miss much, but he'd always make sure someone was taping that race for him so he wouldn't miss it, and that was commendable.
So you took like a fall or something, didn't you? What happened there, Bob?
Hey, the best thing that happened to me was when January 1st, 2022 rolled around. Because 2021 was not my year. I had a knee replaced, and then I had a little accident down at Houston and Sioux Falls, and we're moving on now.
I need both knees replaced. I don't know if you guys have noticed me the last year or so. I can't hardly make it up and down to the press box anymore. But how was that for you? Because I'm trying to feel people out. Some people I know, they said it was a piece of cake. They were on a bike in a couple of days. Some people, it took a little longer. But how did that go for you?
You know, I think if they told you they were on a bike in 2 days, they're pretty much lying to you.
Yeah.
How doped up were they?
Yeah, exactly. About as much as I would be, but
You know, it's a great thing that they can do what they do. First off, don't ever go to YouTube and watch the movie of what they do, because you'll never have your knee done.
No.
But it turns out okay. It just takes time, and the biggest thing of all is, you know, it takes a lot of rehab, and you got to do the rehab.
You have to.
You can't just go home and eat ice cream and sit in your recliner and say, "Man, I hope this is better tomorrow." 'cause it won't be.
I think it's crazy how they pretty much like the day of surgery and after they already have you up and walking and moving.
Oh, yeah. And it never used to be that way. I don't know if you guys know this. My long list, 47 plus broken bones. I've had 5 knee surgeries, 2 lower back surgeries, an neck surgery. I had my guts put back in and another surgery. But I went to physical therapy 6 days a week for 7 months to basically learn how to walk again. And I will be the first to tell you, these physical therapists, I have more respect for them, because these guys would beat the hell out of me every day. I mean, I would come in there. They would actually tell me, double your dose of your meds before you come in, because you're going to want it. They would make me cry. I would come out of there feeling like I had just gotten out of the Royal Rumble. I mean, every single day, 6 days a week, and I would go home and I would sleep it off the rest of the day in my machines and my tubes and all that stuff. But without those guys, I never, ever would have done what I'm still being able to do today. But we have got a ton of more things to talk about here in a Dirty Thursday. Brenden Mullen, NOSA champ. Bob Mullen is here. Amanda Jo Enright. But right now I want to talk about Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You might know a little bit about that place, Brenden.
That I do.
You know, life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done right now. When it comes time for that oil change, stop into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You know, most of them are done with like 15 minutes. That's where I go. They'll do tranny and coolant flushes, tire rotations, batteries. But when you get that oil change, they're also going to top off your fluids. They check your tires, your battery, lights, wipers, your cabin air filter. If you've got fleets, you can get a discount. If you're in the military, they've got a discount for you. They can text and email invoices and coupons. Cool thing about these guys, you mentioned Grand Forks Best Source. They'll give you $10 off that oil change. They're open 7 days a week, no appointment needed. Pickup and delivery is available in Grand Forks too. You know what? For an instant oil change, a complete oil change, and so much more, it's Valvoline Instant Oil Change, 3325 South 38th Street. You can call them up to 701-780-8462, but make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. Back at a Dirty Thursday, Jeff Liebrick says no more soccer either. I know that it's hard. You know, I used to tell people, enjoy it while you can, because before you know it, your kids are going to be done. They're going to be gone, and you're pretty soon going to be like mine, and they're 35 years old, and you got grandkids. Rhonda, Brendan showing how do we do it in the north. There you go. Wade Nygaard says, hi, boys. Kaylee Elizabeth, we hope Brendan comes back to help flag at carts this summer. Some of the
I will be
kids,
there.
Kenna especially, loves seeing someone she idolizes. They're helping them out. Got a bunch of Canadian guys watching, Russ Hans watching. Thank you all for watching us. What does it mean to you, and I've got more I'm going to get to, but what does it mean to you when you hear that these kids idolize you? Because you were probably in the same boat as a kid. I know I was. It still amazes me how you guys interact with the kids, but I think it's at the end of the night, because I've seen a lot. I've seen guys have some really bad nights. Down in the pits afterwards, I mean, you might be looking at a mangled ball of nothing left of a race car, but when a little kid comes up with that look on their face, with their hero card, and they're asking for an autograph, it's like the whole world changes for you guys. What does it mean to you when you hear that these kids idolize you?
That's really cool to hear that go-kart at the go-kart track that kids are looking up for me, because I was that kid. I spent a lot of years at the go-kart track looking up to Mark when he'd come around, or whoever it may be. And it's definitely probably the most calming thing after you've had a bad night is when you're in the pits and you're steaming around just pissed off, and the little kid, hey, can you come sign this for me? Yeah, sure, buddy.
Can I sit in your car for a picture?
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's just, you can't help but smile.
Speaking of Mark Dobmeyer, he called me last night. I was on my way home from Fargo. They were out riding sleds, broke down. He says, can I pull it into your driveway and I come back later and pick it up? And I'm like, sure. And so he stopped by my house last night, and I go, well, what kind of sled was it that broke down? And he goes, well, I was worried somebody'd steal it or whatever. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, it's a Polaris. And I said, well, nobody's going to steal that.
Hey,
so
now.
I had to get that in there.
Hey, now.
Come on.
I like Polaris.
Why?
I just do. I always have. It's what I've always read.
Oh, okay. Well, were you from Rosso or what?
No, I'm from East Grand Forks.
Okay, well, I'm a Thief River Falls boy, and you know what they make in Thief River Falls? Ditch pickles. Arctic Cats. Got a couple of Instagram questions from last night. These guys, and thank you guys for already calling in. But I got a couple of questions for you here, Brenden. Serena asks, what made you start racing?
Him, right there. I mean, just when I was younger, I was always in Wade's trailer watching him and watching NASCAR races with my grandpa. And we would go to Knoxville and go to the races in Grand Forks every Friday night, and we'd go to Kansas City sometimes for NASCAR races. And I just fell in love with racing. I'd get home and play racing games and watch racing videos and everything.
So what got you so involved with racing? Were you a race car driver? Were you a mechanic, anything like that in your younger days? Or what got you, Bob, into the racing world?
You know, if I go back to my youth, I was involved in racing, but only on the drag strips at that time. But but I really kind of grew up around Huset's. For those of you that are pretty familiar with Huset's, they have their main man that kind of runs the track part of it is Tom Van En. And Tom Van En and I went to high school together along with Jeff Kronk. And there was a period in my life where I, of course, attended a lot of races. And I worked out at Huset Speedway for a while. So, you know, and I grew up with, you know, the Doug Wolfgangs and a number of different pretty successful sprint car drivers in the day. And so I had a real tie to racing for a long, long time, and I've always enjoyed it. So, you know, moving forward to this day, I'd gotten kind of disengaged with racing for a number of years. And then at one point I started to sponsor Wade Nygaard way back. This is way, way, way back. And then I was on a board, an advertising board that got involved with Tony Stewart and Danny Lasowski. So I got pretty heavily back involved in the sport when that took place. And then as time went on, my wife and I ended up buying the Nygaard Motorsports team, and we've owned, I don't know how long we've had it, long time, many dollars ago. And lots, you know, but the racing thing for me has always been about creating memories. I mean, we've had so many wonderful times, whether it be with our family. At one time we had Brenden and his cousin Jonas and Jonas's mom and dad all in go-karts for one whole year, which was kind of a crazy deal, having four go-karts in one night, and we didn't have near enough crew members. Mainly we had our son-in-law and then his dad. And so we had a lot of fun with go-karting, and you know, it's just kind of moved on from there. Unfortunately, it's Wade's fault that he's driving a race car because
The truth comes out.
yeah, I mean, we went from go-karts to lightning sprints with Brenden, and very honestly, we did that because as the kids get older in those go-karts, I mean, their head is the roll bar. And, And his parents and grandma and I didn't like that very well. So we went to a lightning sprint so we'd have a full contained cage system. And that was going pretty good for us. If the cars were sensitive, they would oftentimes break down. And Brenden would be winning a race and the car would break down. And it was frustrating to him. But one night, I'll never forget this. We were in Greenbush, Minnesota, and Wade says, you know, let's let Brenden hot lap my sprint car. And I said, well, I don't know. He's 13 or 14 years old. I don't know. I mean, he could destroy that thing, Wade. And Wade says, he'll be fine. Let him go. So Wade puts him into the sprint car, and I think we were running our lightning sprints there, so he had all of his gear with him. And out he goes, and he's just flat-footing it right away, and he's running the cushion and wide open, and Wade's just Wade's just in awe. And he's like, wow.
Get him out of there.
It's unbelievable. And we were all a little bit shocked because it just went too well. And that was pretty much the end of the lightning sprint days, because from there on we just started to form a second team in the way we went.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Now, speaking of Forks Karting Association, they've got the indoor races that were supposed to be next weekend. They have been pushed back now to the 19th and 20th, I believe. Have you heard, because I've heard some rumors that, are they going to bring the caged carts? Is that going to be a new class in Grand Forks? Do you know anything about that?
I know there's a meeting coming up about the winged ones, isn't there?
Yes, I believe
At your
so.
business, I believe.
Okay.
I saw.
Do you know anything? Are they going to do that?
I don't know if they're going to go through with that or not. I know there's a number of people in the community, Wade being one of them.
Wade is one of them, yeah.
Yeah, Wade had put together a cage cart, and then they didn't get enough in that class, so they didn't run it. But there's a lot of places in the country now that run cage carts just from a safety standpoint. In fact, I would guess there's probably more cage carts than there are open carts. So from my standpoint, I'd love to see him be able to put cage carts on the track.
Absolutely.
Because they're fast.
Yeah, and Wade's thinking as a parent on this whole deal too. And my big guess, and if you talk to Wade long enough, he'll probably tell you the same thing. You don't want the kid to turn out like Wade. So you want to get roll bars above that head. You don't want to use your head for a roll bar like you said, Bob. A couple of more questions here. These are coming off Instagram. I believe it was last night. Yeah, Instagram. Zach asks, what was the landing on the fence like at the World of Outlaws?
This is probably the question I get the most.
Oh, and you're going to get more too.
Yeah, I haven't heard the end of it yet, but it was pretty just surreal, honestly. I was just open my eyes. You got to close your eyes on a bad wreck. It's just kind of something.
And you don't want to burst all those blood vessels.
So I opened my eyes and I was staring down at the infield and thought, oh, this is not good. And I saw my dad.
Am I dead?
Saw my dad run for the first time. He came running. And in a dead
That would have been a
sprint.
better videotape than seeing you up on top of the pole.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just unbuckled and started climbing down. It didn't really hit me until I got to the ground and looked up at it like, oh my God.
All in a day's work, right?
Yeah, you're a meme now. You're like,
you
all over the
are a
racing
meme.
page.
One anonymous user asked, World of Outlaw pole crash. That's all they said.
Oh.
Kyle says, besides Nygaard, who do you look up to as far as NOSA sprint car racing?
I'm really good. I'm getting closer with a lot of guys. I think I really look up to Austin a lot just because he's a really good dude.
He wins?
And yeah, he wins. He's fast. He's a good dude, and he does the right things by people. And I like Nick Omdahl a lot. Jade Hastings are both pretty good friends of mine. Jack Roker is another really good friend of mine. It's hard to pick a favorite because I'm starting to like all of the guys as much. Wade might not even be my favorite anymore. We'll have to talk. But
Demoted.
Speaking of Jack Croker, he asks, why is he so damn good looking?
Oh, Jack would ask that
is
question.
so Croker. I'm glad he hasn't lost his sense of humor yet.
Isn't he in Mexico right now?
Is he really?
I think so.
That doesn't surprise me.
Good place for him, right?
Him and Jordan Adams is in Mexico.
Oh, that's right.
it's
yeah.
the-
He's getting married.
Getting married.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Jordan and Abby. Stephen Ader Photography. By the way, Stephen Ader, we're working on a deal right now to try to get him and Mike Speaker up here at the same time. I was in Fargo yesterday, and it was the first time I've been in Fargo that I did not run into the Stephen Ader because I seem to run into him every time I am there. We were talking about the NASCAR thing and the Daytona 500, which, by the way, I wore a Kyle Larson sprint car shirt to the race. You see these guys now. We had a Lightning Sprint driver running ARCA cars. Who was that again?
Bryce Helgeberg.
Bryce Helgeberg. Amber Balkan was up there running ARCA cars. That thought ever cross your mind? I mean, we're looking at these dirt track people coming and jumping in these cars. You're young enough. You're getting the credentials now. I mean, you're the champion of a series that's pretty darn good. You ever think about maybe going to asphalt in your future?
I do think about it quite a bit, actually, but it's hard to get into up here, really. There's not a lot going on that way, and it's more of a Western deal. I mean, the K&N series and all that stuff seems to get more attention, but I do a lot of iRacing, and I do a lot of pavement oval racing on there, too, and I like to think I'm pretty good at it, but maybe not so much. I don't know. But never have driven a pavement car, though.
There's always first times.
Yes.
A couple of more texts. Heather, from Devil's Lake Speedway. Heather, you're out of your mind. Excuse me, Polaris is the only way to go. All right, we'll just forget that one. Sherry Norman, miss you, Mr. Mullen. My favorite quote of yours: have I caught you at a bad time? Best of luck 2022. Adam watching Kaylee Cage Kart meeting this Monday. Did you have a wicked roll last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple.
And tell us about that.
Do you remember who you
Or do you know where it was?
Yeah, me and Wade actually got together I kind of came up on him and I stuck my nose a little somewhere I probably shouldn't have, and it didn't go very well. We kind of rolled the whole way down the backstretch and ended up at the fence off of turn 3, and it was pretty ugly. There wasn't a whole lot left of that car. I was kind of beat up for a couple of days.
Yeah. Do you ever get beat up so bad you think about, what the heck am I doing this for? No. A good answer. I like that. Paula says, by the way, I'll never forget Brenden hot lapping in Greenbush. All Brenden asked was, please stay out there in case I crash. Do you remember that?
No.
What'd you think the first time getting into a big sprint like that?
I thought it was absolutely wild, but I was kind of just taking the wheels off the thing. It was revved up to 9,400 RPMs, and it was a dry Greenbush night, so I'm sure I just about went through a whole set of tires in my 4 laps.
So do you have any more winter racing coming up before we get the schedule kicked off up here in the Tundra?
No, we're looking to go down to I-80 Nebraska here at the first weekend of April, and that'll kind of kickstart our
You guys
season
have
off.
done that before.
Yep, that's usually kind of our first weekend out.
Is that a 360 weekend or is that a 410?
360.
Yep. And Grandpa Bob, you go with on pretty much all these road trips, don't you?
Sure, try to. It's that's the purpose of the whole thing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And are you hands-on in the pits, or do you just kind of oversee things and say, okay, you guys, you know what you got to do. I'm going to kick back here and watch.
Yeah, I'm the wrong age to be in the way now. So yeah.
Well, I didn't mean it. Yeah, but
He wanders a lot too, though, during the night.
I wander around and talk to different race
all
cars.
over. Yeah.
it's fun going to these different tracks, isn't it?
Oh, it's a ball.
And do you guys, when you're at, say, like when you were down in Florida or Georgia or wherever, do you kind of look at what the other guys are doing too, and kind of take note of that, or
Car setup wise, yes, big time. I mean, whatever.
especially a new track?
Yeah, monkey see, monkey do. It's kind of a deal like that. You gotta try find little nicks and knacks maybe to help figure it out. Like when we were in East Bay, what it took for us to finally be pretty good the final night was to look at a couple guys' cars and be like, we are
way off
of what they're doing, and they are pretty damn fast. So we're completely went backwards with the car, and it worked out great.
I want to go back to Daytona for a second. What'd you think of the outcome, by the way? Because Daytona's got a history of rookies winning.
It's predictable.
It is.
Very predictable.
You're balls to the wall, full bore. Hopefully you stay out of the wrecks. Hopefully you're there at the end, and hopefully a rookie will win, which I have no problem with. But what'd you think of the outcome of that
I
thing?
actually did call the race with like 30 to go. I called that. I thought Cindric was going to win just because he had Blaney on his back, and they looked so well together. But I would have liked to seen it end under green. And
yeah, that's the only thing.
That was the only thing, but it was exciting. I mean, I was standing up and screaming, so it couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, it was so bad that my whole right side of my face, I got so sunburned.
Yeah.
I was at this gala, this Mardi Gras thing, and I'm sure maybe some of you saw the pictures of me in the tux, but my right ear was peeling so bad. I'd try to turn to the left, give him like that was my good side or something in the picture, but it didn't work. But after going to my first Daytona 500, I probably wouldn't mind going every single year. I mean, I don't think I'd get there at 9:30 in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning and do the infield thing. If I just got there to watch the race, that would be fine enough. And one more thing I want to add about Daytona, drinking the 25-ounce Busch Lights. I think they were $11 a piece. People are like, wow, that's ridiculous. Well, no, it's over 2 beers.
Yeah.
Buy a beer at the Ralph once, a 12-ounce beer,
really,
and you compare the cost. It's not bad, but they get warm pretty quick.
Yeah.
And if they got that covered, you can go buy that $30 koozie that fits those 25-ounce can. But then anywhere I went after that, anywhere I went in Florida, all the bars, restaurants, same with Alabama, you have Busch Light, and they look at you like, what?
Yep.
That's almost like a kick in the lower extremities. You're asking me what?
Yeah.
But you go to Daytona. Could you imagine how many empty Busch Light beer cans were at the Daytona 500 Speedway?
Well,
I mean,
that's
crazy.
It's all your rednecks. They like their Busch Light.
Are you calling me a redneck?
I sure am.
Okay, it's good stuff. You, Amanda Joe, how are you going to get 70-plus races in this year. I mean, I'm tired right now thinking about it.
I don't know. I just gotta keep up on my schedule. I mean, I'll welcome a rain delay or a night off here and there, and I'm fine with that. I miss it when I'm not there. Like, I won't lie, at the end of this season with 55 races, I was like, oh, screw racing. I never want to see a race car again for like a solid 2 months because I was exhausted. But then, like, come January, I missed everybody. I missed everything. I was looking forward to the banquet, seeing everyone, getting schedules ready. And then when this opportunity, the lightning sprints came, like, I can't say no. I already do this stuff anyways, so might as well say yes. But then I'm going to be working more heavily at Buffalo River, too, so that's every Sunday night. But my schedules line up really nicely where I don't have to, like, pick lightning sprints over NOSA very often or anything like that. So, like, all of our big race weekends we have at Huset's and whatnot, I don't have to miss Buffalo River. I don't have to miss a lightning sprint race. I'm pretty excited about that. Sometimes I feel like I have to tear myself in half almost to go to go places. Like, I feel bad because I still have commitments with the lightning sprints when I'm off with NOSA. But I think people notice that I usually put NOSA first.
Yep.
Because that was kind of my dream for years was to be with NOSA. And I don't know, my heart's there.
You know, I think I did 25 whatever races last year between River City Speedway, Devil's Lake, Greenbush. Then when you get the John Sites weekend, and then I always usually end up doing some go-kart stuff that weekend too. And then you have the one more race, and then we're done. And I'm so burnt out by the end of that 2-week stretch that I'm glad it's done. But then the next weekend, it's 75 degrees out, and I'm going, oh, we should be racing. Oh, we should be racing.
It's hard to end the season. It is. It's hard. But then it's also nice when you have a race team like Brenden here, you can get those opportunities and go south. If you're getting that itch, you got Arizona, you got Florida, you got...
Absolutely.
If you're willing to travel, you got places to go.
You know, one thing I like about, and this is, I think, for most race teams, but back in my radio days, I used to do a lot of work out at Lithia out there. We were always out there doing live remotes. And, of course, I'm the kind of guy, if I'm 10 minutes early, I'm late. So I'd always get there way early, and I'd get set up, and I'd go, gee, I think that's Nygaard's team over there. I still remember the first time I wandered into that shop and talked to you, and you're looking at me like, who the hell are you? And I'm going, well, who the hell are you? And I think I introduced myself, and we started talking. But I ended up coming in there once in a while and stopping in. And I would imagine, do you get that often? I mean, you see the race haulers out there, and you see your guys working in the shop. And, you know, I know the one time I went in there, I don't know how many full-size sprint cars I saw in there, along with the lightning sprints and all the other stuff. But to me, race shops are impressive just because of my DNA. But do people just stop in randomly when they're driving by and just kind of wonder what's going on?
Yeah, we get a lot of that. It's fun. You know, we end up making a fan out of them. And,
sure.
And people are intrigued. They watch race cars, but they really don't know very much about them. They don't know much about how big is the engine, how many horsepower does it have, and I think what always really intrigues them is when they look in the driver's cockpit and they see how the pedals. Not everybody can fit in a seat and run those pedals.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting for them, and then they'll ask questions and what do you do? What do you change on these race cars? And of course, there's so many different little things you can do to make a race car handle different. So, yeah, we see quite a few people.
You know, I talk to a lot of people in my travels and tell them about racing and dirt track racing. And you hear this all the time. Man, I haven't been to the racetrack for like 25 years. Well, you have no idea what you're missing because 25 years is like 2,500 years when it comes to technology and racing. And you know, Brad Sang put it to me so good one day. He said, you know what? This is what we try to do. We try to make this like a circus atmosphere. You want to put on the best show you can. You want to get the show done quick. You want the fans to leave happy. They do that going to a sprint car race, don't they? I mean, because this is awesome. You know, so many people base racing on NASCAR. There, I said it. Okay, turn left, go fast.
Yep.
Watch that for how many hours? Sprint car racing's a whole different gig, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. I mean, it is kind of always my favorite thing to do because at a NASCAR race, you've kind of on those long green flag runs, you got to find something else to entertain yourself. You got to watch a guy or bet on someone or, whereas a sprint car race in a smaller track like River City is when you have 25 laps, you have cars everywhere, all over the track, making all sorts of moves at all times. It's never the excitement doesn't really ramp down until the race is over.
Well, go back a year or two when Kyle Larson won up here with the World of Outlaws. I mean, the way those last 2 laps unfolded, there's no way this guy's going to win.
Yeah.
And he won. I mean, that's how fast things can change in a sprint car. And a lot of people don't realize all that horsepower, and you're basically in nothing. Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot of weight there. It's crazy, the power to weight ratio, and trying to figure out another thing people don't realize is, well, it's almost like a drag car, like you're talking. You might have all this power and all this stuff, but you still have to figure out how to put it to the ground and to make it work. Not going to do you any good spinning your tires around all night long, but there are so many different factors.
Yeah, it is cool to, like, when we tell people that sprint car is the power to weight ratio, the only car on earth that is even close is Formula One. Mm-hmm. And that is pretty much considered by most people to be the kind of epitome of motor racing. So it's cool that we share something similar in that we can put on a show that's a lot more exciting than a 4-hour NASCAR race for some.
And
and I'm a huge NASCAR fan, but I just think that sprint car racing is really on the rise due to more platforms for it to be witnessed on. I mean, I think like Dirt Vision and Flow Racing, those are doing great things for sprint car racing, and it's just getting bigger and bigger.
And another thing too about going to a NASCAR race, depending on if you're a super speedway or not, Formula One, same thing. A lot of Formula One fans are there for the event, not so much the race, because, well, let's face it, in a Formula One race, you get to see about a couple hundred yards, and you're probably not going to see any more. But you go to a dirt track, you get to see the whole thing all the time, unless you're not paying attention.
You get to see him flip into the shrubs off the turn 4.
Land on a pole.
What? Someone did that?
Yeah, the pole dancer. Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
New nickname.
There you are.
I mean, I know you like getting the pole, but seriously.
Schedule this year. Now, if I remember right, I think you guys are going to get pretty aggressive this year. You want to start, what's your schedule going to look like? We'll start with Brenden here with his car. I don't know if the 9N car and Brendan's car are going to do the same schedule, but what's his schedule going to look like for this year?
Well, we've obviously already started it out, but last year I think we ran 55 shows, and I would guess this year we're going to run somewhere in that same vicinity, unless we run out of parts. It's hard. There's a lot of weird things happening in the race car world right now, but I would say we'll probably run similar. We plan to run Grand Forks as much as we can, and there's a lot of NOSA shows in some other communities that we'll get to, and then Houston Speedway's got some unique opportunities coming up for drivers too that we're involved in. So we're going to make as many shows as we possibly can. We got, again, it goes back to Brenden would race 7 days a week if you let him, and our crew would race 7 days a week. But for our crew, for example, they have real jobs, and they can't make every race, and neither can Brendan's dad. So there's a lot of things that feed into all that, but I think we'll probably race 55 to 60 shows again this year.
I was fortunate enough to MC the NOSA banquet this year, and I always try to get there a little early to kind of mave in on the big meeting and stuff. But you're pretty involved with NOSA. I don't know if you're on the board or whatever, but I know you're very vocal. I know you're into it. You're passionate about it, but you are very involved with this.
Well, I'm not on the board, and I don't have a lot of input into what happens in NOSA, but I'm really proud of NOSA, and we've got a very active board that's done a lot of wonderful things. I think maybe I hope that Wayne Anderson, for example, is looking down upon this right now, because he was so proud of NOSA, and he loved it when NOSA traveled, and I think if he could have made NOSA like the World of Outlaws, that would have been his dream.
Sure.
But there's only so many of those around. But the neatest thing probably about NOSA in the last 2 years is you can go just about anywhere in the country now, and they know what NOSA is.
Exactly.
And we've sanctioned some races in different parts of the country, and people are appreciative, and they've stood up and they recognize NOSA. And they're, for example, take USITs. They're trying to get heavily back into 410 sprint cars because they were off for a couple, 3 years. And they've used NOSA to be a little bit of their bridge to get back
Sure.
into 410 racing. And now they've got a pretty good car count on their own, but it's a ball for us to go down and you know, when you race with better racers, you become a better racer.
Absolutely.
You do.
And not that track is anything fantastic compared to other tracks we go to, but the competition level down there is completely different
Sure.
than what we'd get if
Right.
we,
I mean,
if we just keep running with NOSA guys.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot less of a drive for these Southern guys to go there compared to all the way up to River City Speedway. But Wayne Anderson, since you mentioned his name, the Wayne Anderson Cup now that they started last year, what a great deal. I think to give tribute to one hell of a guy. You know, that's just a great deal.
Yeah, for those of you that didn't know him, it was the darndest thing. I have to tell you this story. So we're at East Bay, and I'm standing on this overlook of the pits where you can overlook the track, and I'm standing next to this guy, and we get to visiting, and he says, well, where are you guys from? And I said, well, we're from North Dakota. He said, really? I had a really good friend in North Dakota that loved racing. I said, well, who the heck was that? Maybe I know him. Well, he says he was from Grand Forks. I said, well, who was it? He says his name was Wayne Anderson. Did you know him? I said, yeah, I knew him pretty well. But Wayne had a pretty deep reach out there. And this guy was pretty heavily involved in racing and promoting also. So God bless Wayne.
You know, I came up with some of my best moves because of Wayne Anderson when I was down in doing trackside stuff. Because he would come and back that four-wheeler in, right where I was usually standing. You wouldn't believe how many times I had to dance and jig my way out of the way because he would have ran me over. Hits reverse and he floors it. And it's just, well, if you're in the way, you are in the way. Again, we were talking about sponsorship. I don't know if everything is all lined up for this year yet, but sponsors is such a big deal. And I don't know if you're like everybody else who takes their notes. You got a list of your sponsors with you?
I've got them in my head somewhat, but hopefully.
Somewhat.
Yeah, I got to thank Native Nations Cannabis first and foremost. They've been awesome to us over the last couple of years, but we also have Simplot, who's a great partner. Seal Infoot has been with us since the beginning. Bergstrom Electric has been awesome. Bosch Enterprise Auto Finance Supercenter. We have Tire One in Valvoline. I work over there. Those guys are great. Northland Custom Woodworking, which is Jeff Anosic, who's one of Wade's guys.
Great guy.
He helps us out a ton. And Forks Finest Auto Body too, as well, with Shane Romling, and it's really cool to see that FFAB on a lot of sprint cars around.
It is. He
really does
throws a lot of money out
So
there.
We've got a ton of great partners.
You know, you're just a kid, NOSA champion. You think you might know it all. What do you think you have to learn yet when it comes to sprint car racing?
I have a ton to learn about making consistent laps. You know, a race isn't won by starting first and being out in the. I mean, it's whoever finishes 30 the quickest. So I have a lot to go to become smoother and try to become one of those guys like Larson or Schatz that is mistakeless, it seems like.
And you know, the world and technology is changing so much now. Now people can actually go home at the end of the night and watch video of everything they do. Are you one of those tape watchers?
Big time, over and over. Every single one of my races he puts on Facebook, and I watch those religiously.
Have you learned anything from those videos?
Big time. That was a big thing when I first started off, was watching those videos and seeing corner entries, especially, is where you enter the corner is how you're going to get out of the corner. So you got to make it good. And watching yourself, I mean, when you're in the car and you feel like, oh gosh, I'm right up against that wall. I don't know how I can get up and go any faster. And then you watch the video and you're down scrubbing through the middle a little bit. And it's like,
there you
I
go.
need to get it.
How cool was it? We were at the Beehive in Reynolds for the NOSA banquet. How cool was it posing with the picture with your crew, your family, and everything with the NOSA championship? How cool was that? I mean, and I'm going to ask you that too, because this is just like another reward. I mean, you've won these championships before, but now the first time with your grandson. How cool was that?
That was a pretty big night for us. We certainly didn't have expectations that Brenden was going to win a NOSA championship as quickly as he did. And, you know, Wade's won a lot of them, and that's been exciting for us. And he's done a fantastic job over the last 20 years. But it was very exciting. And, you know, the whole family was pretty pumped up about that.
Love the Beehive. How did it feel for you taking those pics?
It was awesome. I've seen that trophy around just hanging out with Wade a million times, and it was really cool to get my name on it and take some pictures and let it be mine for a year.
So is there this like big competition now between you and the 9N?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. But
He's
I'm
got
sure
a ways
he
to
wants
go to
it.
catch up, though.
Yeah,
He's got a
He's
few
excited
more.
about the season. You should see Wade. He's in immaculate shape. He's been in the gym all winter long.
That doesn't
and
surprise me one bit.
I think he's really ready to go. So
We'll see when he scales.
I think he's convinced that these young guys weigh less, and that's how they beat him.
Oh,
Well, I
So
mean,
he's in the gym
he's
at
not
least an hour,
wrong.
sometimes 2 every day.
yep.
he's not wrong. As someone who does scale them, there's a lot lighter guys than
Oh,
him.
I bet. And the thing with Wade is it's so funny, and I maybe told this story before, but my wife had told him at the end of last year, you should change your number to 2. And he says, why? He says, because it seems like you're always getting second place this year. But you know what? If you could run all year long, what do you finish second in points?
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's not too bad. First and second in points coming out of one race team. That is some pretty cool stuff. And gosh, we love Wade and his whole family. And, now he's got a kid playing hockey and all that stuff too.
I remember my first NOSA race. Oh, Wade. I've always looked up to Wade, and I was I've always been imitated by him. Like, I've never actually spoke to him prior to this. That was the first time I spoke to him was that night, and he came across the scale. Like, he got called for something, so he got put in the back, and he pulls up. He's mad. He just finished in the top 5, mind you, and he's, Amber, Ashley, whatever your name is, like, just hollering at me. You need to do something about this. I looked right down. I'm like, it's Amanda. I'm like, don't forget it. And I love Wade now, but that was our first time ever speaking.
Yeah, he was another one of those guys. It was hard for me to kind of read him, to kind of get to know him. But once you do, you realize how fun of a guy he is.
He's a teddy bear.
Yeah, and his wife is a cat. I mean, I love her. These guys are fun people. And, they're kind of living through what we did, Bob. You got the grandkids and the kids playing hockey and growing up. And I tell Wade, I said, you know what? Enjoy it while you can. And I tell this to everybody because, like I said, before you know it, they're gone. They're graduated. They're done. Enjoy it. It's not only is it about the kid. When you go on these weekend hockey trips and you got a motel room and everything, I used to nickel and dime my vacation to death going to these things, but I made sure it wasn't just about the kid either. You got to have a little bit of fun as a parent while you're doing all this stuff, but enjoy it while you can. Take a deep breath. You know what? He's going to probably be around for a while. When you think of Wade, you think, man, he's been doing this for 50 years. But he still looks like he's 30. And you know what? They're going to be saying the same thing about you, too. I mean, you're a NOSA champion.
looks pretty good.
How old are you, 18?
18,
You know, a NOSA champ at 18. Pretty soon, you're only going to be like 30. And people are going to be going, my goodness, that Mullen kid, he's been doing this for like 40 years. Oh, well, he's only 30 years old. I don't know. But you foresee this going on forever?
I
Maybe doing the
100% think so, yeah.
asphalt thing, but...
I'm for sure going to be racing in some way, shape, or form, I guess, for as long as I can. I love it too much to not. But whether it's financially or whatever situations may present itself, I think I'm always going to be stepping into that and just trying to race, whether it's a street stock or something. It's too much fun to not race.
Yep. Are you one of the kind of guys, if there's tests and tunes around at the beginning of the year, do you hit these things as much as you can?
100%. You're never too good for practice. We actually, when we were down in Florida, there was a practice night at East Bay, and I think we made 55 laps.
Oh, wow.
So I try to take as much advantage of that as I can, because most people don't realize when the World of Outlaws are out on their schedule and they're traveling around, they rent tracks. They'll hit a track on a Wednesday and have a whole day of testing tune. And I think that's really what ultimately makes these guys so good, is that they just have laps and laps and laps and laps.
Well, we've said this before. There really is no practice when it comes to dirt track racing. Your practice is on a Friday night or a Saturday night or whatever night they're racing. It's just not that easy. It's not like racing a BMX bike or a motocross bike or anything like that. There's no practice. But the thing is, up here, our testing tunes, I mean, it could be 80 degrees one day, and we might have a foot of snow the next day at that time of the year. So testing tunes are very rare to get in around here. I believe Devil's Lake, they've already got one coming up like in April, I think. Something like that.
I think doesn't Grand Forks have one too?
Yeah, I have not looked at their complete schedule yet.
Buffalo River will have a couple too.
Okay. Heather says Wade has always been pretty muscular. Muscle weighs more than fat. Just remember that. Wade, just remember that. You're a muscle head, not a fat head.
I'm going to remember that too.
Say, picture this about Wade now, and you guys know him pretty well. You know, he's pretty shy.
He is very shy.
He's not a guy that's going to go into a group and be the spokesman and talk and do all those things. But so picture this when you tell him, now, Wade, today you need to go out and visit with a bunch of people about sponsorship opportunities. You think that's something Wade wants to?
Well, maybe put a couple of beers in him. He might. That's basically how I got him on the show. I still remember I had him booked, and then I didn't realize, and he was really iffy about it. I don't think he wanted to come on. Well, then I realized the World of Outlaws late models were coming, so I went down to the pits that Friday night to say, hey, I can't get you next week, but the week after. It was like a weight just off his shoulders. Oh, good. I don't know. I don't know if I want to. So all we do is sit and drink beer and talk about bullshit, you know, racing and stuff. And he goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I think that's the first time we had you guys on was then. Again, you thanked the sponsors, but there's a lot of people that help you with this deal, too. A chance for you to give them a shout out.
Todd Slocum is really the brains behind our whole organization with the car, and I got to thank Tommy Allison too. It was me and Todd and Tommy were kind of the guys when we went down on this trip for the most part, and they worked their asses off. But I got to thank my grandpa and grandma for sure. My parents, Ryan and Heather, both they sacrificed a lot for me to race, whether it was time at the lake growing up or whatnot. And just my immediate family and all the guys, Wade and his guys, they help us around at the shop and stuff, and we've got a lot of cool people that are really got their hands in this deal.
So what's the race shop look like now? Full?
Yeah,
You guys thrashing pretty hard?
We haven't entirely gotten our stuff together yet since we've gotten back, but yeah, we've got cars and chassis and parts, and we're ready to go.
Kaylee did ask, did you guys have any problems getting parts last year?
No, we didn't run out of anything. And everybody's talking about tires becoming an issue this year, and I guess they could be. They've certainly gone up in cost. But just about everything that we've needed, it hasn't come as quickly as we expected, but it's come. So I hope not. You know, I'm old-fashioned, so you know, they have all these plants that build all these parts and stuff, and they talk about they don't have enough people to. Well, where did all these people go that used to work? Where are they hiding? Come back to work.
Yeah. I was talking to a bar owner I know that some drunk woman kicked out a window one night. It's been plywood over it now for like 3 months. And I said, what's the deal? It was the glaze. They can't get the glaze for the glass to replace the window or something like that. But it's like, really?
All sorts of little knick-knack.
Yeah, all because of this so-called pandemic.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
No problem.
I see producer Paul is standing back there. We're getting ready to wrap up. We got another show coming up. Congratulations to you, my man, NOSA champ. Looking forward to this year. I can't wait.
Me too.
Bob, I'm glad you got to come in the studio today. It's
Thanks
about
for
time
having
you
me.
got your dues here because you are such a huge part of this kid in the 9N car. I'll be out at the shop here as soon as I can. And did you get your Bullring Boys shirts yet or not?
No.
Okay, well, I'll remember to bring you some of those.
You know, the
too,
fridge
so.
is always full of beer, though. You knew that.
No, I
Busch
didn't.
Light.
Wow. What are you doing in about an hour? No. Again, thank you guys and Amanda Joe. You are the bomb. I appreciate you coming in. For somebody that is as busy as you are to take time on your day off to come into the studio here, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. There you go. Wow, another Dirty Thursday is in the books. And big shout out going out to Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. You know, BT and the gang, they always bring you these Dirty Thursday shows, and we love them. You know what? I know this might be hard to believe. We're over there quite a bit. Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. You want to watch the UND Fighting Hawks hockey team this weekend? You can do it because Rumor Sports Bar and Casino has got wall-to-wall televisions. They are everywhere. In fact, they even have a room called the UND room. They got the NHL package. They've got room for parties. Of course, all the big horse races, you're going to see them there. And why not bet on the horses while you're there? Fiesta Fridays, lunch and dinner specials. They've got $6 express lunches. And last but not least, home of the world-famous beer tower. Check them out. Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. They are a great group of people, and the people that hang out there are pretty darn cool, too. There we go. By the way, next week, we're talking 2022 track schedules, all right? Jason Berg won the race this year. We're going to be talking with him and Buffalo River Speedway schedule coming up. And don't forget, tonight, it's the best Forking Sports Arena with Monty, Bill, Smalls, and the entire crew at 6:30. Hey, remember to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit that notification bell on your smartphone and become a patron on Podbean to win yourself all kinds of cool GFBS stuff, all right? Grand City's pretty bitchin' place, isn't it? Grand Forks' best source, giving it an identity again.